Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're tackling a topic that is just everywhere right now. But let's be honest, for a lot of us, it can feel completely overwhelming. I mean, modern life is inherently stressful, right? And when you actually try to find a solution, the sheer volume of information out there about mindfulness and meditation, well, it's enough to make anyone want to pull their hair out. But here's the good news. Today, we are going to strip all of that noise away.
Let's just dive right into this. Often when we hear the word meditation, our brains immediately picture like a monk on a mountaintop, right? Or maybe someone sitting perfectly still on a special cushion for an hour, surrounded by expensive gear and burning incense. Well, we need to challenge that myth right now. The reality, mindfulness can be practiced absolutely anywhere, at any time, by anyone. Literally no prerequisites and definitely no high-tech equipment required.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, demystifying mindfulness. Second, the 4 pillars. Third, 6 principles of practice. Fourth, beginner mindfulness exercises. And finally, the 3 deep breaths.
All right, part 1. Demystifying mindfulness, what it is and what it isn't.
It's a phrase you've probably heard thrown around in boardrooms, classrooms, and wellness retreats. But what exactly is mindfulness? Well, prepare yourself for a bit of a paradigm shift here, because it is very likely way simpler than you've been led to believe.
The crucial point to remember is this. Mindfulness is simply the art of being aware in the face of whatever is happening in the present moment, holding a sense of presence, and, this is key, non-judgment. Notice what isn't in that definition. There's zero mention of achieving some perfect, levitating state of bliss. It is entirely about awareness and just letting go of that urge to constantly judge yourself for what you're thinking or feeling.
You see, the absolute biggest roadblock for beginners is this myth that mindfulness means having a completely clear, blank mind 24/7, which is incredibly intimidating and, frankly, biologically impossible for most of us. The comforting reality is that mindfulness is actually just noticing when you inevitably drift off and then gently returning your focus. Your mind is going to wander, and guess what? That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong.
Moving on to part 2, the 4 pillars, grounding the practice in science.
So we aren't just talking about abstract concepts here. We are talking about verifiable changes in the brain, which is heavily supported by the work of mindfulness researcher Dr. Richie Davidson. His research actually shows that well-being isn't just a genetic lottery. It's a measurable skill you can train, kind of like building a muscle at the gym. And it relies on 4 specific pillars: awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. When you nurture these areas, you fundamentally alter your neuroplasticity, which is just your brain's ability to rewire itself. And that positively influences your overall health, your genes, and your daily happiness. Pretty amazing, right?
Which brings us to part 3, 6 principles of practice, the core mechanics.
Now, these foundational rules apply whether you're sitting on a park bench, standing in line at the grocery store, or even just washing the dishes. Think of these 6 steps like the life cycle of a single breath. First, set aside a time to help build a habit. Second, get into a comfortable position. Third, sense your breath. That's your anchor. Fourth, and pay close attention here, notice the inevitable distractions. Again, your mind will wander. Fifth, observe any judgments that pop up. And sixth, just simply, gently bring your attention back. Do this once, and congratulations, you're meditating. It really is that straightforward.
Okay, part 4, beginner mindfulness exercises, your rapid-fire toolkit.
These exercises are specifically designed for people who simply do not have an hour a day to commit to sitting on a cushion. You could start with literally just 2 minutes of mindful breathing to recharge in the middle of a crazy day. Or a body scan. A 2017 study actually showed that body scans successfully improve interoception, which is your ability to sense your body's internal state. Or, if sitting is painful for you, mindful walking is a scientifically backed way to reduce psychological stress for folks dealing with chronic pain. You can even practice gratitude, mindful listening, or, get this, mindful eating.
Let's actually break down that mindful eating exercise because it's a really famous drill in mindfulness courses. So, you take a single raisin, but you don't just eat it. You observe it like you're an alien discovering it for the very first time. You place it in your mouth, but you resist the urge to chew. You just notice the texture. Then you gently break the skin to notice that burst of flavor. You chew slowly, experiencing every little sound and sensation before finally taking a sip of water. It is a fantastic masterclass in slowing down our rushed automatic lives.
Finally, part 5, the 3 deep breaths, immediate stress alleviation.
Now, if you ever feel acute anxiety bubbling up and you need an immediate on-the-spot solution, this is going to be your go-to tool.
This exercise anchors you immediately. Here's how it works. You take a deep breath in through your nose, as deep as you can, and you hold it right at the top for 5 full seconds. Then, as you exhale, you vividly imagine blowing out all of your stress. And then you do it a second time, holding for 5 seconds and exhaling all that heavy tension.
And then comes the absolutely crucial third breath. You take that third deep breath, you hold it for 5 seconds, and as you exhale and blow out the very last of that stress, you silently offer yourself this really powerful command, relax now. Saying this simple phrase on the third exhalation actually works to shift your subconscious mind. It literally cues your body that it is safe to release tension. We also have an incredible mental tool for when those spiraling, unproductive thoughts hit you out of nowhere. It's called the stop technique. The exact second you catch a negative thought that just isn't serving you, you firmly and internally say the word stop. By literally interrupting that pattern, you make the thought dissipate and you create immediate space to insert a new, positive thought process.
So what do you fill that new space with? Well, you can use a scripted affirmation, like, each day, in every way, I get better and better. Say it to yourself with real confidence. The sources actually note that practicing this sort of structured meditation daily without skipping a single day for at least 21 days does incredibly powerful work on your mind. You are fundamentally changing your life for the better in just a few minutes a day.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a direct challenge. Look at everything we just covered today. You don't need to do it all, but you do need to start somewhere. So, which 2-minute practice, whether it's the 3D breaths, the raisin drill, or maybe a simple body scan, will you integrate into your day-to-day? Think about it. If you don't take 2 minutes to master your own mind, who else is going to do it for you? Pick one, take action right now, and just see how it transforms your present moment.